Well, hello, folks out there in YouTube land. Got a big show lined up for you. Let's get right on into it. All right, folks, looks like the national media is upset with the Vols again. Seems like every time we win a game or do something significant, they go all crazy.
Oh, there they go. There they go.
Just the way it is. They don't like the Vols too much. Let's take a little look-see at this. Yep, it appears that we have definitely upset the snowflakes in the national media, and they're trying to let us have it on social media. And here's the story on A to Z Sports by Zach Reagan. It says multiple national media members threw shade at Tennessee Vols on Saturday. And of course, we know the Vols advanced to the Sweet 16, which is awesome. But Tennessee's physical style of defense, which limited Duke to its lowest point total in an NCAA tournament since 1980, did not go over well with the national media. They did not appreciate it. And it talks about how not everyone was impressed with the Vols' old school style. Says several members of the national media took shots at Tennessee on Saturday, starting with Sports Illustrated's Pat Ford calls Vols center Uris Plavics, which I call once daily. He called Plavics a hack, and that's been quickly exposed here. And the writer says taking personal shots at college athletes is usually off limits for media members. So you can debate the professionalism of that tweet. I think it's in poor taste for what it's worth. Ford wasn't the only national media type who threw shade at Tennessee. Fox Sports' Doug Gottlieb got in on the shade throwing with some tweets directed at Tennessee. He's talked about the foul of Uros. He said, I think my favorite part is the idea he didn't think it was a foul, and that's because when he ran into, and he did foul a Duke center who went flying, and look, you know, there was some flopping going on by Duke, if you noticed, but I think it was a legit foul, and so does this writer. He said, but Duke's Kyle Filipowski also sold it pretty well. So there you go. Then he said he also called Tennessee dirty. Said Tennessee going to the Elite Eight after losing their point guard is not what anyone expected. Certainly I didn't. That was great. Said not a fan of their dirty play, basically dirty stuff he calls it. But Tennessee was so physical, Duke couldn't do much about it. And the writer says here, I guess playing tough defense these days is called dirty. And Charles Barkley, on the other hand, which doesn't surprise me at all, he loved it. He said they physically dominated the game on the defensive end. Tennessee was awesome. You know, look, you know, Barkley's a little bit old school. You know, he played when actually you could touch somebody playing basketball. It's not so much that way anymore. Now, look, Uros is a tough player. There's no doubt. And I'm not surprised that some people don't like it. But look, you know, it was way worse back in the 90s. If you'll remember the Detroit Pistons, the way they used to play, look, Uros would have been considered a kitten compared to how they played. So, you know, having one guy who's a little bit tough, look, a lot of our players are tough in there. You know, even our 5'9" Ziegler, who, you know, is out due to injury, was one of the toughest guys out there. Every player we've got is pretty tough. And most of them are seniors, juniors. You know, we don't have a lot of freshmen the way Duke does. And Duke just wasn't ready for that kind of physical play. You know, they play in the ACC, we play in the SEC. Well, everything in the SEC is more physical, whether it's football, basketball. Heck, Tiddlywinks is tougher in the SEC. That's just the way it is. But unfortunately, we have been contacted by ESPN. And guess what? Their sensitivity trainer wants to talk to us, wants to talk to me specifically for some reason. Now, last time he came on this channel, it didn't go well for him. And, you know, I can't guarantee it's going to go well this time. But he wants to talk to us. If you'll remember when we ran up the score on Missouri with our all backups, by the way, ESPN got all tore up about it, and that Chris Folica or whatever his name is, the Bear, came after us, and I'll show you that. And this is when UT beat Missouri 66-24, and it led to a lot of the whole Josh Heupel has no class comments, etc. And ESPN's Chris Bear Folica said he called it a little much. And here he said, I genuinely want to know how the coaches on the committee will feel about that. Says, look, I'm all for letting your backups play, but this feels like a little too much. He was not happy that we supposedly ran up the score. And again, we had our backup quarterback, our backup running back, our backup wide receiver, and our backup lineman. So, you know, Missouri needed to stop us at some point themselves. But anyway, let's see what ESPN has to say. Again, this is the sensitivity trainer at ESPN. Well, hello, Sports Talk Jay. I'm not real happy to have to talk to you a second time. I would have thought the first time would have done the trick, but obviously not. But what I want to talk about is, once again, your renegade sports programs who either are running up the score or bullying other teams. In basketball, football, whatever it is, you've got a bunch of bullies down there. Now, look, up here in Bristol, Connecticut, we don't do things the way you do down south, okay? You know, we are very well-mannered, number one, and we don't run around and try to bully and run up scores. I'm going to tell you right now, if this continues, understand ESPN is very powerful, and we can cancel you and your team if this continues. This is your second and only warning that you're going to receive from me. Okay, this is not a discussion. This is me explaining to you how the world works in 2023. And if you think you're going to run up scores and make other people feel bad or bully a blue blood like Duke, which you are not a blue blood, Vols, you are not blue bloods, okay? You're a renegade program that's out of control, and you're trying to push around blue bloods, and I'm not going to tolerate it, nor is ESPN. So this is it. There'll be no more warnings from ESPN when it comes to the Vols. Understand that. Well, first of all, I don't appreciate you coming on this show with an attitude. Look, I allowed you to come on this show because you said you were going to be professional. Obviously, you can't keep your word, and I don't appreciate it. Secondly, you know what? We've been threatened by ESPN and national media types for years and years and years. So all of this nonsense that you're going to do this and you're going to cancel us and all this crap, we don't care, because you're not. You're not going to do anything. All you're going to do is sit up there in Bristol, Connecticut, and worry about, you know, all these little, oh, everybody's a bully, we're going to cancel you, we're going to do this. Somebody said something wrong to me and upset me, and you're always in your feelings. Well, you know what? We don't care about your feelings. We're trying to win a ball game, which we just did.
Oh, who won that fight anyway?
And now we're in the Sweet 16, and our football team, by the way, which finished 11-2, we're back. That's just the way it is. So you know what? If you don't like it, why don't you just stay up in Bristol, Connecticut with all your wonderful ratings? I understand ESPN's killing it right now. What are you, down about 70% from when you were really relevant? Oh, really? Well, let me tell you something, Sports Talk Jay. You're going to be the next to be canceled as well. We'll just take you both out. We'll take the Vols out and you out. How would you like that? This is why I don't come on this show, and this is why I don't talk to people from the South. With your big trucks, and you're always out there barbecuing and CO2 up in the air, ruining the environment, and your guns and ammunition and all this crap that we have to put up with up north from you. This is why I don't come on this program. And the last time I had to have 2 weeks of counseling after being on this show, and now I'm getting upset again, and I can tell, oh no, it's going to happen again. All right, folks, sorry you had to see that. I was afraid that was going to happen. I told him before he came on, I said, I don't want to go through this a second time with you. And sure enough, you know, he can't control himself. He loses his cool and flips out. What can I do about it? You know, that's just pretty typical. But look, you know what? We're going to the Sweet 16, and I'm liking our position. Let's look at this bracket. Yeah, right here we sit. We're going to play either FDU, which is Fairleigh Dickinson. Sounds like a school up in Virginia somewhere, like I don't know, a prep school. And Florida Atlantic, the winner of that will be playing us. So I'm pretty excited about that. It's either a 9 seed or a 16 seed. So I like our chances to get into the Elite Eight. We're either going to be playing either Kentucky, Kansas State, Michigan State, and Marquette. And I believe Kentucky and Kansas State are playing while I'm filming right now. So we'll have a pretty good idea. And I think this game's tied. So anyway, folks, sorry you had to see that. Look, you know, that's just the way this guy is. He's really high-strung. He needs to take a couple of weeks off and figure out something to do with his life instead of coming on to YouTube channels and threatening people like that. Anyway, if you like this content, be sure to hit that like button. Let's me know to continue to cover the Vols and all the goings-ons, or the ons going. Anyway, if you haven't subscribed, it's right here on the left. Cost you nothing. I'd appreciate it. Just a boop. It's all you got to do. Just hit that little button. Right over here is my most recent video. Be sure to check that out. And we'll see you next time on Sports Talk Jay.